Crooners like to remind us that love is a many splendid thing, but sometimes it can also be bizarre and incredibly cruel. Just ask former couple, rugby league star Josh Reynolds and lingerie model Arabella Del Busso. As is often the way with modern romances, their attraction was as instant as it was passionate. It ended, though, as a very public police matter. Then the story got even stranger. Claims of fake pregnancies, fake cancers, fake funerals and domestic violence. It made for scandalous headlines. Many assumed Josh was just another footballer behaving badly, until it emerged Arabella was not necessarily the victim she said she was.
No bottom lashes today.
No bottom lashes today, girl.
Arabella's got some interstellar gator skin boots.
An early morning hair and makeup session is nothing new for Arabella Del Busso, who's worked very hard to get herself a glamorous life as an Instagram model.
I'm out there, I'm crazy, but I am who I am.
What do you mean by you're crazy?
Just got a good sense of humour.
Some people define crazy a bit differently.
No, especially with headlines. People, think I'm a psycho. People think I'm crazy.
Arabella Del Busso is not backing down.
When Arabella talks about headlines, the 30-year-old means the media storm that hit late last year.
Reynolds appeared in Sutherland local court.
The victim of a fake pregnancy scam orchestrated by his former partner.
The Salacious stories ran for weeks. Was she a scheming con woman or just a misunderstood victim? It all stemmed from a very messy and public breakup with NRL star Josh Reynolds. He claims she faked 3 pregnancies, while she accused him of domestic violence.
What did I do? Storming with me like I'm a convict.
That 28 seconds is something I'll never be able to take back. I don't ever want to be that person ever again.
But when that now notorious video went public, the spotlight suddenly turned to Arabella's past. Nearly a dozen ex-lovers and former associates coming forward, claiming she'd actually lived a decade of deception.
In a bizarre tale of multiple aliases, fake pregnancies and the fictional diagnosis of cancer.
Is this woman Arabella Del Busso?
I know her as Belladonna Di Donato.
And she was your girlfriend?
Yep. She told me she had cervical cancer. Gave her about $2,500 to $3,000 for a treatment, towards a treatment.
One of the men had even successfully sued her for fraud and obtaining money by deception.
I mean, from going by everything that's out there, you've had cervical cancer twice, 2 brain tumours, ovarian cancer, 3 miscarriages, your mother's died 3 times and your sister's died. I mean, if we ignore the fact that's completely impossible, gee, you've had some bad luck.
Yeah, I would... more than bad luck.
It's not guilty.
Not long after the series of revelations emerged, the charges against Josh Reynolds were dropped.
Reynolds was charged with assault after his former girlfriend claimed the footballer grabbed her arm during an argument late last year.
And now it's Arabella who's being investigated by police.
Is faking pregnancies normal? Is faking your mum's death normal? Making me go through all that? Is it? I'd love an answer from her.
Was that actually your ultrasound?
No.
Did you fake any of those pregnancies?
I'm denying those claims.
Is that a no?
I didn't say that.
Arabella Del Busso hasn't always gone by that name.
You've used 9 or 10 different aliases over the years.
9 or 10?
Yep. Donna Proiska, Belladonna Di Donato, Donna Barcelona, Arabella Del Busso, Arabella Del Busco, Arabella Melbourne, Donna Barcelona. Why do you have so many aliases?
But I don't have so many aliases. End of story, I'm Bella, that's it.
To try to understand Arabella, you need to go back to where it all began. Traralgon in country Victoria, where she started life as Donna Proiska.
She looks very sweet as a youngster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very sweet young girl.
Arabella's mother, Isabel Proiska, hasn't spoken to her daughter since she moved out of home aged 18. But it turns out Arabella has been speaking to others about her.
Arabella's been telling people that
you're dead and then asking for money to pay for funerals. You seem pretty alive to me.
Last I checked, I was, yeah.
You have been dead several times, apparently.
3 times, apparently, yes.
Pretty amazing you've come back to life 3 times.
I have, Mum. Better than Jesus.
Isabel says there were signs from an early age that Arabella was always wanting more.
She wanted the high life. We were just living in, it's a basic house, at least 50 years old, and she wasn't happy with that, so she made up stories to say that she lived in Vale, the high society of Traralgon, and had glamorous cars and things like that. So, yeah, and it would always be something bigger and better.
How would you describe your childhood?
Traumatic. Words can't describe. What I went through as a child.
Arabella's memories of her upbringing are very different.
I feel like I wasn't brought up. I was dragged up. It's not a life, to have to go through as a child, these things, aren't pleasant, but it's made me who I am today.
What were you dreaming of?
A better life, a better childhood, some love. Sorry.
So this is where you grew up?
Yeah, this is where it all started.
Nearly 1,000 kilometres away from Traralgon in southwest Sydney, Josh Reynolds was doing it tough as well. He was brought up by his single mum Nicole in the working class suburb of Belmore. Nothing comes easy around these parts.
Yeah, it doesn't. And but I think that's why, funnily enough, a lot of successful people come from areas like this because you know what, you're brought up with, not nothing, but struggling.
Reynolds is away down the right side, and chasing is Josh Reynolds. He must all have scored.
Rugby league was Josh's ticket to a better life.
And there's the youngster Josh Reynolds, chance to make his debut.
He dreamed of playing for his local team, the Canterbury Bulldogs, and that dream came true in 2011.
This is a footballer. He loves it.
Bursting onto the scene and going on to become one of the game's elite players.
Never, ever have I ever felt like this, mate. So much joy.
He had everything on the field, but he wanted more off it. And that's when two worlds collided.
How did you meet Josh Reynolds?
I met him on Instagram.
Who messaged who first?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think it was me, yeah.
What were you first attracted to in him?
You know what? He actually was a nice person. And he still is. The way he spoke to me. I was like, oh, this guy's nice.
How did you then meet up in person?
He said he was coming down to Melbourne and that he'd like to catch up. So that's what we done.
I don't think we can paint this any other way. It was a one-night stand.
Yeah, takes two to tango.
Both were happy to write it off as a bit of fun. But quickly, this got serious. When a month later, Arabella messaged Josh saying she was pregnant with twins.
I messaged him on Instagram and all I said was, we have a problem. That was all I said.
I was rattled because, one, we weren't together. Two, you don't necessarily want to have a kid from a one-night stand. And three, was I ready for that?
In the end, you embraced the idea of becoming a father with Arabella.
Yeah, when I got over that first period of shock, I think natural instincts kicked in the fact of, you know what, I don't really know this girl, but hey, I've always wanted kids. Why don't we just try and work it out?
Both from broken homes, the couple decided history wasn't going to repeat itself with them. They wanted to make this work.
It was exciting. I was going to be a mum. I got over the terms of, you know, this is scary, what should we do? And the next step we took was, we're going to do this together.
You were buying prams, you were shopping for baby clothes.
Literally, yeah, and that's exciting. You know, like for once in my life, I was happy with that. I was content. You know, like, and that's massive for me.
But it wasn't long before Josh claims there were some red flags, feeling like Arabella was keeping him out of the process.
When did some strange things start happening in that pregnancy?
The things that really hurt me, that got to me, was every time there was a scan or there was always an excuse. She's like, oh, okay, just let me see if I can get it printed off. The place that I went to only do it on disc. I was like, okay, so where's the disc? She's like, oh, I just can't find it. And I was going, so you can't find like a baby like scan, like the photos? Like, this is a bit fishy. Like, why isn't she just handing over the disc?
Even stranger was that Josh claims Arabella kept thwarting his attempts to meet her obstetrician in Melbourne.
I wanted to meet him because, you know, it's going to be the guy delivering the baby. But yeah, every question I arose with her, she just shut it down.
Who did you tell Josh you were seeing as your obstetrician?
Dr. Joseph Scroy.
Were you seeing Dr. Scroy?
No.
So you lied to Josh?
Yes, I did.
This is the first of a number of times during the interview that Arabella ends up admitting to lying.
What have you found out since about Dr. Scroy?
I had seen Arabella, but it wasn't for a pregnancy. It was for an egg donation.
And that was during the time she was supposed to already be pregnant with your twins?
Yeah.
In an affidavit sworn by Josh, he states Dr. Scroy has provided documents confirming he saw Arabella in November 2018 for an ultrasound scan in which she was seeking to be an egg donor.
That's why it's so crazy to this day. Well, what are you a miracle person? Can you give eggs and, you know, at the same time be pregnant?
Before their interviews, we asked both Arabella and Josh to give us as much supporting evidence as possible to help their cases. Josh has provided us with documents, including photos, text messages, and sworn statements. And at first, Arabella also agreed to do that, but at no stage since then, despite multiple requests, has she given us any evidence to back up her claims.
Where are your medical records?
Well, I can get a hold of them. I don't have them on me. Can't we go on face value?
Coming up, great expectations.
You're pretty clucky, aren't you?
I am.
And in crippling heartbreak.
I was hurting so much. It broke me.
As suspicious minds.
The scan she sent me was off.
Was that actually your ultrasound?
And more pregnancies.
From that point on, she started playing some real mind games with me.
Lead to greater despair.
Soon after you were pregnant for a third time, you told Josh that your mother had died.
That's next on 60 Minutes. When Josh Reynolds found out he was going to be a dad, the NRL hard man became a big softie. Stocking up for the new arrival, the prospect of paternity seemed to suit him.
I was looking at the photos of you with your godkids up on the mantelpiece. You're pretty clucky, aren't you?
I am, yeah. It's funny, you know, I play a full contact, brutal sport, but I try and be a tough guy. And as soon as I come off the field and yeah, there's kids involved, there's always been something about them. You know, I see how much joy they bring to people.
Josh's girlfriend, Arabella Del Busso, was helping him realise that dream. She told him she was pregnant with twins. The happy couple even having a rugby league-themed gender reveal. They were having 2 boys. But sadly, that excitement was short-lived. In January last year, Arabella told Josh she'd suffered a miscarriage.
How long into that pregnancy was it before you miscarried?
19 weeks. I don't wish to discuss too much. It's daunting enough to talk about enough as it is. But when I told Josh, he was quite upset about it.
At that stage, I was so into this whole relationship baby thing that I was hurting so much. It broke me, literally, because one, it was the most exciting time of my life, and two, I had feelings for this girl.
With the pregnancy no more, the young couple went on a holiday to try to get to know each other a bit better. And soon after, in March, Arabella revealed to Josh she was pregnant again. But it didn't last long. Just weeks later, she told him she'd miscarried before ever getting the chance to consult a doctor about the pregnancy. Josh poured his heart out on national TV.
How do I comfort her when I'm pretty struggling myself? And because it is a lot harder, I think, for females, because they go through it and it's growing inside them. And yeah, I was brutally shocked, and but I really wanted to, I suppose, be a man and be there for her.
But that heartbreak was short-lived, because in June, Arabella told Josh she was pregnant again, her third pregnancy in 6 months.
So mate, I've just gone, holy, it's a miracle, literally, because it is, with everything we've been through. So she comes home and we're back on the happy train again. You know what I mean? Just the roller coaster of emotions.
But when Josh excitedly showed his friends the 12-week ultrasound Arabella sent to him, he didn't get the response he expected.
The scan she sent me was off. That's when I first of all went to my mates and showed them that, and they were like, mate, that is not a proper scan.
Medical professionals have looked at this ultrasound and questioned the veracity of it.
Okay.
Where was this done?
I can't remember. Because normally it should have my name, where it was.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's what you said was your ultrasound. Was that actually your ultrasound?
No.
Why would you send that to the father of this child, apparently, and say, this is the ultrasound of our child?
Because I was being spiteful.
It's yet another lie, and looking back now, Josh realises things were spiralling out of control.
From that point on was when she started really, I suppose, turning the screws on, playing some real mind games with me.
And that's where Arabella's mum, Isabel Preusker, comes back into the picture. Soon after the ultrasound argument, news came through that suddenly Arabella's mother, who Josh had never met, had died.
She broke down crying, and I was crying for her on the phone, by that stage I was an emotional wreck with everything.
Soon after you discovered you were pregnant for a third time, you told Josh that your mother had died.
Yeah, and that wasn't the biological mother. That was the mum that I call mum, who passed away.
Did you spell that out to Josh?
No, I didn't. Because I didn't feel like he needed to know. Who I call my mum is my mum.
This is going to be the father of your children, though.
I didn't feel comfortable. I felt judged by him.
So who is the person that you refer to as your mother?
Her name is Maria. And she was a lady very close to me.
What was Maria's surname?
Her name is Del Busso. Sorry. I met her when I was younger. She helped me through all the tough times that I've been through. Can I have a break?
Sure.
But this is where the story gets even more complicated. After Maria Del Busso's apparent death, Josh was texted out of the blue by a woman claiming to be Arabella's auntie. She says Arabella is $45,000 out of pocket after organising to fly herself and the body of her mum to Italy for burial, and asks Josh to transfer Arabella some money.
So I messaged Belle and say that to her. I was like, look, I don't mean to, I don't want to cause any trouble, but why is Auntie Vi asking me for money for you?
Okay, can we clarify that my Auntie Vi has never asked Josh for money whatsoever?
So who asked him?
Myself, I asked him.
So why does he have text messages from Auntie Vi?
Well, I don't know.
We've since contacted Auntie Vi, who tells us she's never messaged Josh Reynolds in her life, nor asked him for cash. The mobile number that sent the text requesting money be transferred to Arabella's bank account isn't Vi's and has now been disconnected. In the end, Josh did help Arabella pay for the supposed funeral. So she flew to Europe for 5 weeks, where she also attended a wedding.
How much money do you think you ended up transferring all up?
Well, I reckon about, $6 grand, $7 grand, and that's just off the back of her being a bit too smart for me. In the end, I've worked, I don't think you have to be smart enough to realise I was pretty much just paying for her holiday.
Coming up.
I then proceed to open the door, stark naked.
That's what she thought. I was in the toilet taking photos of myself.
An ugly confrontation.
What did I
with plenty of regrets.
That 28 seconds is something I'll never be able to take back.
Plus, more drama for Arabella.
Did you fake any of those pregnancies?
As Josh questions everything.
That was when the penny dropped.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
Hey babe, I just wanted to send you a quick message. I hope you slept really well.
This is Arabella Del Busso in July last year, sending her love to her footy star boyfriend, Josh Reynolds.
Go out there, get some touchdowns. Just want to let you know that I do really miss you a lot. And so do the babies. Growing.
Arabella sent this excited message when she was apparently about 3 months pregnant with another set of twins, her third pregnancy with Josh Reynolds. But there was a very different video she took only 6 weeks later, once back home with Josh. It's this video that's now gained much more notoriety, becoming national news when it was leaked to the media late last year.
What did I do? Still remember me like I'm a convict, you piece of
That was me at my absolute worst. Am I ashamed of the way I spoke to a woman? 100%. You should treat women with the utmost respect. And yeah, I'm not proud of that moment.
Before this video was taken, there was an argument.
So I went downstairs. I feel like I just opened the door. He said I barged in.
Why?
Are you serious? Stark naked, phone down at his genitals.
That's what she thought, that I was in the toilet taking photos of myself. But I was actually ordering food. I've got evidence to show that exact time, that exact day, food got delivered to my house.
He slams the door on me. I then proceed to open the door and ask him what's going on. I then see his phone on the basin. So I grabbed it and I went upstairs, hoping to obviously see what was in it, what he was doing.
But when Josh bursts back into the bedroom, Arabella films this encounter.
I don't like that image. That 28 seconds is something I'll never be able to take back in my life.
You don't look like a great bloke.
Yeah, you're right. It's I actually struggled to watch that, to be honest. It's not how I've been brought up. And I even hate looking at that person. I don't ever want to be that person ever again.
It's what happens when the video stopped recording that's really in contention.
He then proceeded to get quite angry, quite aggressive. I went to get up out of the bed just so I could leave the room. He then forcefully tried to stop me, put me against the door. He was angry. I've never seen him so angry like that. had full force of me against the door. Tried to get out. Obviously, he's quite a strong person.
Did you throw Arabella against the wall?
Well, no, because before I said I'd never lay a hand on a woman, so no. Yeah, I was angry. I looked so angry in that video. I know I was angry at that time. But am I going to ever lay a hand on a woman? No way.
After the confrontation, Arabella was so upset that she left the house and then debriefed with her friend and neighbour, Jenny Spiridis.
And I went and stayed at theirs the night. I didn't feel safe. I didn't know what to do. So obviously I left the house.
We spoke about our argument and, you know, she was upset a little bit, but she never said he did anything physical to her. It was just verbal. And she laughed a little bit about it because it was just an argument that I'd imagine anyone's had. I've had it.
Soon after, Josh and Arabella made up. But just like the first pregnancy, Josh claims she still wouldn't let him come to any obstetrician appointments, often cancelling them at short notice. Then Arabella revealed she had even more bad news.
I've got text messages saying, like, I've got this condition. I'm going to die. I'm glad that you're going to be here to look after the baby.
Arabella told Josh she was suffering from a rare and dangerous condition called placenta accreta.
Funnily enough, again, we were going through a bad patch, and now I think about it, that was the ploy. Every time I looked to push away, make up something new. Placenta accreta, miscarriage, mum die, whatever else she made up. And it makes sense because that's how I got roped in every time.
Yet even with this possibly deadly condition, Arabella cancelled another obstetrician's visit at the last minute, while Josh was already sitting in the waiting room. To his surprise, she told him to go speak to the doctor himself about the pregnancy. Incredibly, Josh claims the doctor revealed he barely knew Arabella.
So anyway, I go inside, and I say, mate, so what is this condition? He says, it's really dangerous. And he says to me, I'm not going to lie to you. I've never had a patient be this lapsy-daisy about it. You know, she's booked 3 times and pulled out. And he says to me, I've got no information of her. And Belle's told me she sent him everything. I was like, mate, are you serious? You know, there's no way. He literally turned his computer screen around, showed me, no results.
Is that when the penny dropped?
That was when the penny dropped, when I thought, it was fake.
Why couldn't Josh go with you to those medical appointments?
Well, he could have, but he had commitments.
He says you made repeated bookings with doctors and then cancelled.
Because I didn't want him coming to them.
So, what were you trying to hide?
I wasn't hiding anything. Because the way that I see it is, if you can't make an appointment...
But you were the one cancelling the appointments.
Because I was being spiteful.
Soon after the obstetrician visit, Josh asked Arabella to move out for good, so she ended up back at Jenny's. Jenny says Arabella told her about the placenta accreta and explained she needed medication for the condition and kept it in the fridge. Strangely though, there was a fake address on that medication, so Jenny became suspicious.
So I Googled the medication, and that's when I thought, oh, something might be wrong here. Because everything that I Googled was leading to IVF and not to be taken while pregnant.
Fair to say alarm bells were starting to go.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Worryingly, Jenny claims she then witnessed Arabella inject the IVF medication orgalutran.
What's going through your head as you watch this?
Well, at that stage, I knew she wasn't pregnant, and I just wanted her out of my house.
Obstetrician Dr. Stephen Morris says it makes no sense for a pregnant woman to be taking IVF medication.
Would there ever be a reason that you, as a pregnant woman, would take IVF stimulation drugs?
No. They're there to stimulate the ovaries to get follicular growth, so if you're already pregnant, there'd be no reason to have follicular growth.
Would there ever be a doctor that would prescribe them to you while you were pregnant?
No.
Interestingly, the IVF medication did have one noteworthy side effect.
Fertility medication, which stimulate the ovaries, can cause the ovaries to enlarge. That can cause the abdomen to swell.
So it could give the impression of a bloated stomach.
Yes.
Why were you getting drugs to stimulate egg growth for IVF egg donation?
Yeah, because I'm
when you were supposedly pregnant?
going to be donating my eggs.
While you were pregnant?
No, not while I was pregnant.
So why did you have the drugs then?
Yeah, but why can't I? It's prepping up for everything.
Prepping up for what?
For next time I want to donate my eggs.
How does a doctor prescribe that for you if you're pregnant?
I don't know, you tell me, Tom.
Did you fake any of those pregnancies?
I'm denying those claims.
Is that a no?
I didn't say that. I've got nothing else to say about that. The thing, like, I'm here to tell you, like, this is about between Josh and I and what's actually happened. Okay. Can I have a break?
Coming up,
I spoke to the police. I showed them the video.
why being charged and humiliated
I got arrested straight away.
was good news.
It's not guilty.
For Josh Reynolds.
There's guys messaging me saying, mate, ring me.
Is every one of them alive?
I'm not saying that they're lying.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
Do you find you get recognised a little bit these days after all the media attention?
Yeah, which is, I don't like it, to be honest. Like, I just want to be able to live my life.
Arabella Del Busso is a juxtaposition. At times, she comes across as fragile and shy, at odds with the outwardly sexual profile that she promotes online.
I'm a very private person, although probably Instagram probably tells a different story, but...
His former girlfriend claimed the footballer grabbed her arm during an argument late last year.
Arabella hit the headlines late last year when this video of NRL star Josh Reynolds was released.
What did I do?
4 months after this was filmed, Arabella decided to go to police on December the 11th, only hours after Josh sent her a text message spelling out once and for all, "I know you have never been pregnant, and all the scans were made up on the internet. It's emotional abuse. Get out of my life or the police will take action against you." Police did take action, but it was against Josh.
I spoke to the police, told them what was going on. I showed them the video, I told them my story. I said to them, I don't want him charged. I don't want anything to happen to him. I said, I just want advice.
I go into the police station, honestly, and without even hearing one bit of my side, I got arrested straight away. Straight away.
It's not guilty. Let the legal course take its course.
Josh, are you worried about playing again?
Josh ended up spending a night in the police lockup and was eventually charged, having to run the gauntlet of the media scrum at court. But in a twist of fate, it was this exposure that ended up setting him free.
A lot of other guys came forward to you saying, wow, it's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you how many people come out of the woodworks. I had people, guys messaging me in the courtroom. I'm sitting there waiting for my case to happen, and there's guys messaging me saying, mate, ring me, I need to tell you, Josh, this and that.
All up, 10 different men came forward to Josh, their allegations ranging all the way back to when Arabella was just 18. Her boyfriend back then claims Arabella told him in 2008 she had brain cancer, and he and his friends gave her more than $10,000. 4 years later, another former lover alleges Arabella hit him up for $4,000 for a sick relative in Perth. A year later, and more claims of brain cancer saw another ex hand over $10,000. Then in 2014, yet another boyfriend says Arabella told him her mother died and he gave her $6,000 for funeral costs. That very same year, another man came forward claiming Arabella told him she had a new cancer.
She told me she had cervical cancer. Gave her about $2,500 to $3,000 for a treatment. She can't get away with doing this to people. She's been doing it for years.
Another man claims Arabella lied to him about 4 funerals, including her mother's death again. And in 2018, he successfully sued her for fraud and obtaining money by deception.
There are 5 different people that have come forward and claimed that you have told them you have cancer and needed financial support for that. Is every one of them a liar?
I'm not saying that they're lying.
What are you saying?
Well, I'm saying to you that I haven't had that. So why, for me, I don't understand why they would be saying that.
Possibly because you told them?
Well, I didn't.
With so many people coming forward claiming Arabella had a history of deception, police had a change of heart. In February, the assault charges against Josh were dropped, much to Arabella's disgust.
I feel like I've been victim blamed. I've been plastered everywhere. All because this happened to Josh. I think everyone's forgot as to why Josh was charged. And that was with assault.
Why do you think the charges were dropped?
Because it was a credibility. Come down to credibility in trial by media.
Coming up,
police have now launched multiple investigations against you.
Scrutiny for Arabella.
As far as I'm concerned, there is no allegations.
I hate to break it to you, but there's allegations left, right and centre.
As Josh dreams
I know deep down that I'll be a great dad.
of what might have been.
This is the big question. Where's his last baby?
That's next on 60 Minutes. Man, they obviously loved you around here to whack a mural up.
They used to.
Yeah, the X through the face there, maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Today, Josh Reynolds is still tortured about everything that happened with Arabella. Of course, he's relieved the assault charge has now been dropped, but feels his name is still tainted.
I had a school ring up. I get a call in the morning saying, you know, you don't have to come in because the parents don't want you at the school. That hurt me, you know, because the case is over. It's still lingering.
Mud sticks, eh?
Kids are everything to me, as we know.
I couldn't deal. Mentally, physically, I couldn't do it.
Arabella told us the pregnancy was terminated last December, meaning she would have been past the 6-month stage.
These things, you know, aren't pleasant, but it's made me who I am today. So despite what's happened, we've all got a story. We've just got to keep going.
For now, Arabella's returned to her old life in Melbourne, regularly posting on her Instagram account and even commissioning a street artist to paint a mural of her. But as this story takes yet another bizarre turn, it's now Arabella who detectives are focusing on.
Police have now launched multiple investigations against you for fraud and deception.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, and my legal team are concerned, that there is no allegations at this stage or charges being laid.
I hate to break it to you, but there's allegations left, right and centre.
Yeah, of course there's allegations, but as far as the police are concerned, my legal team have spoken to them, and as far as they are aware, there is nothing at this stage.
Josh has now put these toxic 2 years behind him. And at least his old local club is willing to have him back training their junior teams each week. For him, it's all about looking forward. Yes, he's changed because of all of this, but thankfully his dream of fatherhood remains unchanged. It's as strong as ever.
How do you think you'll feel when you finally become a dad?
Yeah, I know deep down that I'll be a great dad, and I've got a lot of love to give to someone, and yeah, I honestly can't wait. You know what? I'm not going to let this scar me. I've got a lot to give, and yeah, my time will come. It'll come.
Hello, I'm Sarah Abo. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.